Oh man, this card looks pretty sweet. Let's see how people feel about it. Let's see here. Dead fan. Dead fan. Dead fan. Loud fan. Dead fan. Loud fan. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, fan dead. You know, I already have one of these. Surely the difference between a red fan and a blue fan cannot be that significant, right?
Well, fuck. Well, I guess the joke's on me when it comes to these Radeon HIS 6850s. I read the reviews talking about how the old red fan ones were great and the perfect card, the perfect price, but the new blue fan ones were complete shit. And I didn't believe them because I've bought a million HIS cards in the past and they've all been fucking awesome. And then I bought this bad boy with the blue fan, and guess what? It's fucking shit. It's loud as hell. The fan died in like 2 weeks. The first thing I do when I buy a video card normally is replace the thermal paste on it because the factory shit is horrible, and pretty much voided my warranty by doing that. So I couldn't send the goddamn thing back. So kicked my own ass there. So I guess it's on me to go out and drop like $45 or something like that on eBay to get my new cooler, which is going to be this thing, which is pretty much bigger than my card. So I figure if I'm going to do it, I might as well make a tutorial about it, because I guess it's a really common problem for the fan on these to die, and yet I can't find shit about anyone who's replaced the fan on one of these. So figure if I got to deal with it and learn through trial and error, perhaps you don't have to. So I have no idea if this is going to work or not. We're going to find out together. So wish me luck. Alright, so the first step is going to be to take this stock cooler off and fan, heatsink, all this jazz. This is all got to come off. So to take it off, we're going to have to take out all the screws here, these four, and there's a couple up here that need to come off as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, and then I'll go ahead and show you the result once it's been taken off. Okay, once you've got the screws taken out, which, by the way, I lied to you, you only take out 4 screws. The other 2 I would recommend leaving in there if you're going to keep it, because it's a heat spreader for well, whatever that thing's called, I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll probably put a little fucking word thing over the video. I'm half retarded, so I don't remember these things. Anyways, once you've got the heatsink off, right here, this is pretty much useless to me now, and dead to me. You're going to want to clean off the, oops, sorry, shadow. You're going to want to clean off the thermal grease compound that's going to be on here. To do that, most people, I think, use Q-tips and rubbing alcohol. My preference is normally, like, I'll use Q-tips unless I can get like lintless, some sort of lintless tissue or something, like toilet paper, but doesn't leave little marks. So go ahead and get this bad boy clean, and it's got to be, it doesn't have to, but it's recommended that it has to be pretty fucking clean if you're going to make a good connection when you get the new paste on there. So go ahead and get to that. The next part is to put these heat spreaders that the new heatsink came with, that go on the memory chips. There's like a little paste that you'll make. It's like an adhesive thermal compound. They give you 2 little packets, and you have to mix this for about 5 minutes, and then once it's on there, you spread it onto each one of these. And then once it's on there, boom, set that in there, and then I think you let it sit for about 5 hours, which is horrifyingly long. So that'll be fun to wait on, you know, to get back to playing my video games like I like to. Apparently I have to wait. I went ahead and did this off camera because how to do this will vary on what card you have. And I have the 6850, so mine was done a specific way, but there's these little rubber studs that come with it. There's also these little clear ones and stuff. Which one of these you use is completely dependent on what card you have, so that's why I left it out there. If you're curious on how to do it, it couldn't be simpler. It came with this little pad of paper here, and it had 3 little sticky, well, basically they're little circles of glue. And once you figure out which ones you needed, you just put the little razor things on the adhesive, and then once you had them on the adhesive, you stuck them to this big metal plate that came with it. And they recommend that you put the metal plate here on before you put the heat spreaders on, so that way you don't put the heat spreaders on and then you can't get this fucking thing on because you had gotten their way or something. It's just, I guess, a precaution. I figured you'd be able to do it by eye if you're not retarded, but I did it anyways because I am retarded. So all you've missed is that I put this thing on here, and I'll be putting it on again later when I actually put the heatsink itself on. So you're not missing much. I'm gonna go ahead and start mixing the paste here and hopefully get these spreaders on. Glue! Alright, well, I've got the glue all done, and once I got it done, I went ahead and oh, sorry, shadow again, because I'm a fucking idiot. I went ahead and put the glue, thermal glue, or whatever the hell you call it, on everything, and now I just got to put these bad boys on there. So hopefully I did this right. I'm not entirely sure. I made a bit of a mess. But if all else works in 5 fucking hours, I'll find out the answer to whether or not it worked. So I'll see you guys in 5 hours. I'm gonna go, I guess, masturbate and then figure out what to do with 4 hours and 58 minutes. Fuck! Well, it's been 5 hours and the glue seems to have worked. I pretty much pick up the card by the heat spreaders and they're not coming off, so that's a good sign. They don't need to be, I don't really want to like jar them and see how far they can go, because that would have eliminated the point of putting them on there and waiting 5 hours. But I mean, if they can hold up to this, I'm sure they can sit without falling off for extended periods of time. So I took the metal plate off of this to put it back onto the heat spreader, so that's why that's missing. And as you can see, I just kind of put that back on there, and I also, being an idiot, wasn't really paying attention, and I rested my thumb on the fucking thermal, so I'm sure I got some nice grease or hand oil, whatever the fuck. I'm sure I got some sort of oil off my finger on there that'll probably burn and create little air pockets and bring my temperature up. It seems likely. God damn it. I could do new thermal, but I'm gonna be lazy on this one and just test the card, because eventually I'm gonna change it anyways, so I don't really see the point. This is more of a fan test than anything. So let's go ahead and put this bad boy on here, and I'm pretty sure the next step is the last step, which is to actually attach this thing. Once you line up the heatsink with the card, you have to line up the little spacers, obviously with the holes for the screw, and then it's pretty much self-explanatory. The screws you're going to use aren't the ones that came with the heatsink, or you're going to use the ones that did come with the new heatsink, not the old one. So you're not going to be using those again unless you want to put that old one back on. But put that on there. Yeah, make sure they're nice and tight. Don't try to break your card or anything, but it's got to hold on pretty solid, and this is pretty much it. So I can't wait to test this bad boy out and give you guys all the results. And just one more look at the cards now that it's on there before I put them in there. This is the heatsink that I removed from the one with the dead fan. This giant piece of shit. This is the other card that I bought, an exact same card, only this one came with the red fan that everyone was talking about, that I didn't believe could possibly be so much better than this. And then it fucking died. I mean, this thing just feels like a cheap piece of shit, like I could just break it. This one actually feels more sturdy. Surprisingly enough, I didn't think there'd be that much difference in a fucking fan, especially from the same company. And this one's been going for almost a year now, and I have had no problems with it at all. It's never given me problems. Temperatures are good. Everything's great. So I guess if you get a blue fan, you're fucked. Send it back and just go buy a different brand. If you get a red one, well, you're just fucking swell, aren't you? It's unfortunate that they had to go this route because I've bought a lot of HIS cards in the past, and next time I'm out in the market for a new video card, because of this and how horrible these fans have been for me and other people, I may be looking into trying out some new brands. So if you guys have any preferences, let me know. I've been looking at some of the Asus ones for future reference. Final shot here. This is the exact same card, only this one has the Accellero Twin Turbo 2 by Arctic Cooling or whatever. And it's quite a bit bigger than the stock fan, if you can tell. Thanking God I have the space in my case to do it. However, I am certainly a little concerned about running them side by side in Crossfire, because that could give me some trouble. So I'm gonna hook this thing up, see what I can do, and let you guys know. Okay, as you can see, I'm running Furmark right now. It's the 15-minute 1080p burn-in test. I'm actually not getting the FPS. I feel like I should be, so I'm gonna have to look into that on my own time. But it is definitely using my cards. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I should probably just record the screen. But the top one is 58 degrees Celsius, and the bottom one is 68 degrees Celsius. And as you can see, the top one would be the one with the new cooler, and the bottom one would be the one with the stock cooler. I noticed when I first got them on, the bottom 6850 with the stock cooler was idling lower, which is pretty reasonable because the top card, even when I had stock cooling on both of them, the top card always runs hotter because it's pulling the heat from the one on the bottom. And as you can see with this new card, there's really not a lot of space. It was advertised as a one slot dealy thing, you know, like only takes up to one slot, PCI slot or whatever, and I pretty much knew the moment I opened that box that was bullshit. So I'm not really okay with how close these sit, but it's not much I can do about it at this point without, you know, cutting myself off for like the 50 bucks I spent on it. And if I put it on the bottom, it'll be pretty much making contact with the power supply, and I'll just go ahead and just see how this does. I may switch them eventually, but it's much quieter now that the fan, you know, isn't fucking dead. The stock cooler was always pretty quiet. I never really had a problem with noise, but with this thing going like balls to the wall all the time, because I have it hooked up to that Molex thing instead of the pin on the video card because it didn't have the right size pin, the fans are going full speed always, and you can barely tell. Most of the noise you hear is from my CPU cooler because it's a loud piece of shit. It works, it's loud. So I'll see what the temperatures get up to after 15 minutes on this 1080p burn-in test. So I'll post the results on the video, and from the looks of things, I'd say it was pretty much a success installing this thing, so it worked out pretty well. And guess I'll see you guys next time.
As you can see here, I went ahead and ran the 15-minute burn-in test, and I let it go all the way through, and I'd say it did pretty good. It started off at like 40 degrees and got to 60 degrees Celsius, but the end result, the highest either card got was the top card got 67 degrees Celsius and the bottom one got 71 degrees Celsius. That might say a few things. It might make the new cooler look maybe not as good as it should, like, oh man, it didn't really make that much of a difference. But as I said before, the top card always runs hotter than the bottom card, And when I had the stock ones, the top card, even with the big space between the cards, was always at least 12 to 15 degrees Celsius more hot than the one below it. So I definitely say there is a huge performance boost in this cooler, and it's working out pretty well. So I'm gonna go ahead and recommend this thing if you can throw out the money and get one, because it seems to be working pretty nicely.